I know some of them are doing their own, like, get to know you stuff. But so when you come up to turn in your 112, after we check it in a second, you're also going to bring your 111 back up. And I'm just going to keep that, like, forever. Okay, so those, and actually that's kind of fun because then I give those to Mr. Hall, and then he gives them back to you next year, at least assuming that he actually gives them back. It lets him learn about you, and also it lets you see what you wrote a year ago and what was important to you. So if you are ever absent, because we have some kids starting to miss class because of like appointments or whatever else, what you want to do is go to YouTube. Because guys, I don't like put these on Schoology every day. You know how to navigate YouTube. I'm sure most of you know how to navigate YouTube better than me. Unless people have some sort of clever channel name, a lot of us, especially like anybody in Worthington, our YouTube channel is just our name. So if you don't know how to spell my name, check your plan book. So Micah Hudson. And if we have enough internet this morning, which we all know we've been struggling with. I am not the football player being drafted by Alabama. And I am not the hip-hop dance instructor. I know, I'm sorry.
So depressing.
But we'll come back to that once my YouTube has a chance to load. So we'll come back to that. And then if you don't have a ruler, we'll get that later because we're not going to spend time getting it now. So 112, your practice that is due today. Your areas, and we talked yesterday about how I put a video of me solving the trapezoid up on Schoology. Guys, if you did not solve the trapezoid area, this will come back to you as a check minus and you will need to revise it. So if you need help with that, go check Schoology and watch that video. Your answers you should get are 15 for area of triangle, 18.5 for the perimeter. Yeah, Heidi.
My questions are all over the place, so you kind of can't tell.
So we'll have to work on cleaning that up. Okay? So either try to work on, like, put a label next to it for, like, ABC, right? Kind of, like, help me out somehow. For the trapezoid perimeter, always add up all the sides all the way around. Area for trapezoid is probably one of the hardest things we're supposed to learn this year. So you are not supposed to have that mastered yet. This is challenging, but the struggle is a good thing. It helps us learn. So to do the trapezoid, there are two different ways you might see the formula. Sometimes it has a 1/2 out front, and sometimes it just does division by 2. That's the same thing, right? Whether you do 1/2 or whether you write it as division by 2, it does the same thing. It does half of something. So you add up your bases and then divide those by 2. So in this situation, your bases were your 12 and your 23, right? And there's a video of me going over this on Schoology, so I'm not going over the whole problem. You end up getting 210. For C, perimeter 22, because remember you have 4 and 7 again on the other sides, and then area of 21. The game, fair and unfair, this is all you. There's no right answer here, so it's just did you do it? Did you think up some games? Did you talk about why they're fair or unfair? So that's all on you. Anyone want to talk about 13? Why these events are less or more likely? Jana?
Like on the first question is event 2 is more likely because like in college or high school you will learn like you will have to learn a language.
Yeah, in high school you'll start learning a language and become like mildly proficient, and then you'll probably continue that in college. June?
Don't you start learning languages in 8th grade?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. It used to not start till high school. See, that's kind of where my brain defaulted back to. Mario? Sure.
Okay, well, you're much more likely, it's much more likely for all your classmates to like have the same thing for lunch on the same day than all your classmates to wear the same kinds of shoes. Because especially if you go to the same school and you like are buying land, and there's like only like there's a lot of very limited,
Yeah.
pretty limited options of lunch.
Especially now that we have pizza every day.
Yeah.
Or guys, like when we have a cookout. Or when we have a cookout, like we all eat the same thing, essentially. Like a burger or a dog, even if it's like a veggie burger.
Oh, no.
Yeah, nice. Because winning the lottery is very rare. Or for this one.
No, the second one.
Yeah. And like, you guys could eat pizza every single day, so I bet a lot of you do. And not that that's a good thing, but I bet a lot of you do. I accidentally, and this is why you shouldn't do math in pen, accidentally put a spot here that shouldn't be, but then all your other dots to mark those points. And then the guess my number, which we're gonna continue today. So the guess my number event, which I don't know if we got to the guess my number thing yesterday in class on the warm-up page. I forget if we got to a couple. But something times 6, right? A number times 6, and then add 7, you get 25. So one way we can work these, hey Alex, you with me? Because this is what we were talking about this morning. One way we can think through these is kind of to think it backwards. Undo the stuff that has happened. So since add 7 happened last, undo that by, what's undoing addition? Subtraction, right? So here, what I actually did was minus 7 from both sides. And it, if I was more confident with this work, maybe I would write it out. And then something times 6 is 18. What's that something? 3. All right, so you are going to bring up 1, 1, 1 and 1, 1, 2 and put them in the bin. I will sort them. It is okay.
Wait, I have a question.
And then, actually, no, I can't hand that out yet. It's too much. Oh, I looked at this. I just forgot to put the checks on it. Sometimes I'm just going too fast, and I read through it, and then so what happened was I put the check on the grade sheet, and I forgot to put your checks on your sheet. Because everybody got a check on their homework for this one. A reminder, because I know some of you are going to think this is a lie, I never want to cause you stress. Seriously. Now, my job is I got to teach you math, so if you choose to turn that into stress, I think that's a poor choice. Guys, seriously, last night I was tutoring a college student. And he was like freaking, he like would click on a problem because it was online. He'd go, oh my gosh! Horrible reaction. Right? Raising his stress level for no reason. Because he's got to do the work. So why have a negative reaction to it? You should not be stressing about your work. But especially if it says examples from class, we're doing that in class. Don't worry about that stuff. If I hand you a sheet and you don't get to it, we will do this in class. Okay? Do not stress about those things. Many people have made that mistake. You are not alone if you thought that was practice work you had to do. Many people have done that. All right, so can someone help me remember how far we made this? Because it should be written on your paper. Oh, by the way, if you don't have 113 out, go ahead and pull 113 out of your binder because your binder should be on your desk. Your binder should be on your desk. Jana, how far did we make it yesterday? Game 1. Oh, and you kept working. All right, so go ahead and take, let's say maybe 5 minutes. Chat with your teammates, and I'm going to come around, and Miss Martin's probably going to be walking around. What do you think the mystery number is in each of these different situations? Chat with your teammates, write some stuff out, do whatever you want. Get out your graph paper if you want. The last one's really tough. The last one's really tough.
Add 2, you get 24. 24 is the number. Yeah. Get 24. Yeah. 24 is the number, not 24. Yeah. You add 2, so 22. Then you take half of your number, which is 11. Wait, what? No, but look, where did you get 44?
I was thinking, oh, so 44.
Whoa! You
I
can't
do
be like talking about that.
you know.
You got my help. You can't be like, I told you.
And then you add 2, you get 24. I didn't do it backwards, I did it frontwards.
I think mine's correct.
I think mine's correct. So we're disagreeing. So I thought it was 44 because
So like remove 2 and then take half that number.
So Keegan, make sure we get a
I got
11.
11.
So do you have a 11?
Wait, you have to do the opposite of division.
Okay, we'll get a new one.
Oh yeah, you multiply.
Oh, right. See?
There you go. You guys got it. Okay. So the number is 10. Brains and
Not beauty. Brandon ugly.
no for you. I'm brains. Strongness. Muscle.
Talk with each other.
Straight. So okay, but I don't understand game work. I get my number and I get my number. It doesn't say what number to get.
All right, so real quick, back up on the screen because it finally loaded. So this has gotten a tiny bit tougher because of the football player. All of a sudden, this guy's getting recruited to go to Alabama, and a bunch of his football clips are up there. And yeah, his name is Micah Hudson. But if you go to the thing that says keep calm and do math, that is me. And actually, you can see there's some videos from yesterday's class. That was the other class, and then here's your class up there. But if you click on my YouTube channel, and then you could bookmark it, guys, you can also go to Schoology. My YouTube channel is linked on Schoology. So however you get to my YouTube, whether you go to Schoology or just search it, here's the thing people forget to do. Click on videos. And that should take you to a chronological list that will have the most recent, if it ever loads, that'll have the most recent video on top. So this is trying to load. It's right here. It's working on it. It's working on it. All right, we'll come back to this. Number 2, game number 2. Any volunteers? This is when I don't necessarily use my cards because I don't know if we all solved it. Oh, we talked a lot. Gabe, you want to help me out? Sure. What do you think? When I add 2 to my number and then I multiply it by 5, I get 30.
I got 4.
You got 4. So let's walk through that one. Because a lot of this is kind of like a guess and check process, unless we know how to undo it. So add 2 to my number. So if you're saying the mystery number is 4, let's add 2 with it. And then multiply it by 5. So we got to do this first. What is 4 plus 2? 6. So that times 5, is that 30? Yeah. So make sure you've got some work written there so it doesn't look like you didn't do this in class, right? Because I know that we all do this together. If you don't have anything written there, you can go ahead and copy down what we got up here. Miss,
Oh no, I'm just raising my hand for game 3.
you looking to do the next one? All right, Miss, go ahead and give us number 3.
44.
Why do you think it's 44?
Because if you take away half from 44, you get 22. And then add 2, you get 24.
So Misk is saying, since we have to do half of my number, what's half of 44? 22. And then add 2. Does that equal 24? Yes. So 44 would be that number there. Did you guys figure out number 4, Margo?
I did.
Ooh, Lily. All right, Lily. Wait, what? You kind of staring at me for a second. Lily was quicker on the draw. All right, Lily, what do you think? Lily got 4. So let's try this out. 4. When I double my number, how do I double a number? Times 2. So we're thinking 2 times 4 and add 8. Okay, well, what's 2 times 4? 8 plus 8. 16. Is that, ooh, because this one got more complicated, I get my number plus 12. Well, if your number's 4, what's 4 plus 12? Aha! So 4 does work here. For game 4, it is 4. Now, do you think you're going to remember how to explain it using the tiles?
No.
Do you remember what I showed you yesterday?
Maybe. I might be able to.
Do you want to try it?
Maybe.
All right, so Margo came and asked me for help with extensions, which is exactly what you want to do. Game 5 is really complicated. So Margo's going to try to explain it, but guys, again, Margo's taking a risk, right? She's coming up here and trying to do something that's a little challenging. We figured it out yesterday, right? Like, we worked together and figured it out. But I'm going to see if Margo remembers all that. And if she doesn't, that's okay. I'll jump in if needed. might have made my computer mad. I was seeing if that would plug in the other spot, and I do not think it wants to do that.
I'm going to use it because I didn't exactly.
So
I remember.
let's use these because they're a little smaller. All right, so talk it through with them. So like, go ahead and read the situation again, and then
Okay,
you start
so-
playing with these.
When I double my number, add 4, and then subtract my number and subtract 3, I get my number plus 1. What is my number?
So go ahead and talk to them about what we're doing here.
Okay, wait. So, if you have 2,
Two,
and then if you have 2 tiles, if
Two.
your number is 2,
not your numbers.
what?
So these are our mystery numbers.
Okay.
Right? So we doubled it. We've got 2 of our mystery numbers. Everyone okay with that? Is double the mystery number.
Okay. And then you add 4.
So scooch them into the frame so we can see it. So then these little square tiles, and guys, we're all going to start using algebra tiles here very soon, like probably next week. These little square tiles are 1s. So does this make sense that so far Margot is showing 2 times the mystery number and 4 extra? Any questions? I could also say 4 plus 2 times the mystery number. All right, go ahead and keep going.
Then you subtract your number.
Now we just
Oh, wait.
subtract one of
Yeah,
the number,
so
right?
you subtract your number.
Now Margot, why is that red?
Because the red equals like minus. It
On-
equals like negative.
Yeah, on the tiles, the red represents negative, right? So that
So-
is a negative x.
So subtract your original number, and then subtract 3. And
So-
then
What happens if you pair up things?
it cancels out these numbers.
And the problem tells us we get
And
my
then
number
You get
plus
the number plus
one.
1. So this is your number plus 1.
So what does that mean, Margot?
So it basically means that your number is like any real number. It's x equals any real number. So the answer is it x?
You can plug in any number you want here, and it works. Let's try it. Double. So let's pick a number. Right. Let's say our number is 5. 5 is a good number. When we double our number, how do we do that? Times 2. Guys, I got some people glazed over, and these problems continue to come back over and over again. So if you're spaced out right now, come back to me. Double my number, then add 4, and then we'll subtract, well, what is our number? 5, and also subtract 3. What's 2 times 5? 10 plus 4. So all of this was 14. If I have a negative 5 and a negative 3, that's negative 8. Uh-oh. Starting to think maybe we goofed up. Let me slow it down then. What's 14 minus 5? Yeah, so that's 9, then minus 3. I didn't get my... Oh! I get my number plus 1. So if you're trying to get your original number back, our original number was 5. What we get told we get is our original number plus 1. Is this our original number plus 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You meant you get your original number, then you plus.
Well, no, so we get, so this is original number plus 1. Does that make sense? You can try this with any number, and it'll work if you do the math right. Yes. That'll work. 8 will work. So 5 is not the answer, it's one of the answers. There's infinitely many. I know, kind of mind-blowing. Alright. So that, I want to double check that that is everything that I had on that examples from class page. So let me check my notes real fast. go ahead. How much time do we have? Go ahead and try to make up your own Guess My Number. Take a couple minutes. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but what you need to do to make up a Guess My Number is decide your number first. You decide your mystery number, and then think up what you want to do with it. Right, so think up, so you've got space on your paper there in 17. So think up what you want for your mystery number, and then do some stuff to it. So like on your paper you could write down like number equals, like the hashtag equals, because that's the number symbol, right? That's the number symbol.
No. 21. Because I'm not doing 500.
Is there a range where you have to like just do one?
I mean, the bigger the number you choose, just gets more complicated.
Yeah, let's do
but
500.
that's
Let's
fine.
not do 500.
Let's do it.
Let's do 21. Or 2. Or 1.
600 then.
Got some fun stuff going on.
No.
100.
50.
1,000.
50.
50,000.
No. 20. 10. I'm doing 10.
No.
Okay, pick up a number. 150.
Oh wait, I wanna stand up. Do you have a calculator?
You don't need to do anything with these yet. Sorry, just leave these be. You don't need to do anything with these yet. I'm gonna come around and give you something else, so don't do anything with these yet.
Is this homework? Yeah.
Alright, well,
Yeah.
We get homework every day.
pretty much. The only way to learn math is to do it. Alright, so now, Misk is over here complaining about homework every day.
I never said I'm.
Okay, well, I took it as a complaint. So since Misk is complaining, I'm going to pay you guys off.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, I'm going to pay you off, so you stop complaining about homework every day. Now these are not actually yours to keep, but if you keep them, enjoy the 20 cents. I don't know that you can buy
Okay, then we'll do
anything with
20.
this these days.
I don't think he's gonna give us 500 pennies. I don't think he's gonna give us 500 pennies. Give me 500 pennies.
Now, grab your pennies
Then I
and
have
papers.
$5. Let's do 20. 15. 16.
Can we do 100? No. 105. 96.
So one of the things that you need to get in the habit of is it doesn't count to just get quiet, because I can tell Donovan is still totally distracted because I can't see his eyes at all. Jude is totally distracted because she's got a new paper in front of her. So when we clap, we need your eyes on us, because some of you are already getting caught not listening to directions and doing extra work. Now I totally lost my thought process. Sorry, real quick to loop back to here because it finally loaded. So when you go into my YouTube and you click videos, the most recent videos will always be right here. Now, the thing you guys want to double check on is check the date and check the class, because we are Math 7, right? We have our classes early in the morning, so that'll end up uploaded probably by lunch. Like if you're sick, it'll probably be up by lunch. And then if you're curious what the other math class is doing and you've got spare time, sure, you can watch what my other math class is doing. So this is where you find videos for missed classes if you are sick. All right, so now, I spend some time on the internet, not a lot. Like, I probably spend less time than you guys. But there's this page on the internet called They Did the Math. And it's like really funny examples of people asking ridiculous questions and solving them. So my ridiculous question I want to ask to you is, how many pennies do you think it would take to reach the ceiling of my classroom? If we start now, let's assume that we've got the magic power and that the stack will stay standing. Now, some of you might think this is absurd. We can't, that's a dumb question. We can't figure that out. I guarantee you, just like the nails, I promise you, this is a solvable question. And it's actually not that difficult once we know how to do it, just like the nails.
How tall is your classroom?
So we'll get to that point, but right now, all you can do is collect data using your pennies, your rulers, and the table that I put in your notes page. So at this point, you should be grabbing those new notes that I put in front of you, putting your names on them, and then starting to play with how to fill in that table. Can you line up? And this is going to take some teamwork. One person's probably going to have to hold the pennies. Another person might need to hold the ruler. Remember, your ruler doesn't start at 0. There's some extra space. So you can't just put your ruler on the table. Yeah, it doesn't start at 0. I've got extra rulers. If a group is without a ruler, then you need to make sure you bring it back up here. You probably won't need that end because that's the secondary end. We're working in metric, not inches. Centimeters, not inches. Neither of us have a ruler.
On the
All
side.
right, well, you get one. Make sure that goes back to the back of my classroom.
We have more than 20 now.
Fakio, you got a ruler or you borrow one? Oh, and this is my pennies. Now, here, you're going to get the special set. Because you don't have a partner?
It's okay if we have more. Look at the amount of things we need. That's too much. We need to get to 100.
I got an idea.
No, but we have to know the amount of Why are you putting the amount of pennies in there?
Because I don't want to forget.
And I'll need those back in here. That's my stack.
Oh, wait, I should put on it.
We are metric, because metric is better. I'm concerned that some of us didn't listen. Your ruler does not start at 0. Guys, you cannot stack your pennies on the table and then lay your ruler on the table. I know this needs to focus. It'll come back in a second. See that gap at the end of your ruler? This gap, that's totally going to screw you up if you stack your pennies and just try to measure off the table. You got to work together because that extra little space before the 0, that's going to mess with us. Yeah, sorry, I can't really get it to focus. There you go. Now it's, see that's a lot of extra space before the 0.
I mean, mine's not that much.
Centimeters.
Mine's 2 inches? A space?
Oh, how about we do it like a tip at the table and then put the ruler right here. That would be easier.
But I'm pretty sure the first one's 7. I don't know. I'm gonna be doing it.
Are you already ready to solve how many for my room?
Yeah, so are we.
Same.
We're already.
No, your whole table's filled in.
Oh, we're almost ready.
We're not ready till that table's filled in.
What did you do? I've been erasing
What are you thinking for 1 cent?
Yeah, that's 7.
A penny air.
You couldn't want you hold a stack and you
Tell me how much you're gonna get.
That's why we're in teams. You're teamwork, right? So that's not the direction we're headed.
7 equals 1 metric.
Not like this stack. We're not going to do a stack like this. We need a stack flat like this. It's exactly flat. Make up a sentence. So is measuring is that centimeters?
Yeah. So what?
Then 3
Oh, wait, so
would just be,
height of the tower. Wait.
Centimeters. You need to stack multiple pennies.
and put them under a penny here. That's why it's empty. Please.
Oh yeah. 700.
guys finding? What's your data?
So our data is 7 pennies.
Hey, that's how you break rulers. Let's not do that, please. One metric. I like that you wrote one metric.
Yeah, I didn't know it.
It is the metric unit, though. Like, well, technically the meter is the metric unit.
Did we solve that?
Some of you did the ending, and some of you repeated the. Yeah. So, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Is it a like manageable seeming idea? And I need to borrow some pennies back from some people. Does it seem manageable to start by trying to measure a single penny? No. Oh, wow. That was unanimous. Cool. All right. Well, I guess that's a bad idea. So hold up. Cards, because apparently you're all in agreement. You can't change my mind by yelling at me. Only my wife has that power. Raphael, what did you try to measure? Instead of 1 penny, what did you try to measure? 8 pennies. Now this is where we all have to like come to an agreement. This is the tough decision. Is it 7 or is it 8?
7.
Because so hold up, and my dot camera's probably going to try to fall over. With your teammates, really carefully, and I need to get my other lamp going because right now it's too dark on my desk. You want a stack like this, right? And you want to lay it sideways so you can line up 0. Double check and double count, because it's kind of hard to count the pennies. How many pennies make up 1 centimeter? Double check that. Raphael, could you double check it too, because you got my stack back there?
You put 9.
So I might have to remake it if you goofed it up.
Wait, so it's either 7 or 8. One of those are the correct answer, or are they both incorrect?
One of those is the correct answer, yes.
Can we write the dry erase markers on the table?
No. Because I do not know if those will like come off yet or not.
There will be 8 places. Uh-oh. But these are a tiny bit bigger.
Hold on. Stack them on the table. Like your pens.
So that thing is 8. Uh-oh.
It's 8.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna also put like 8 right here.
Okay. So you're sticking with 7? You're doubling down?
I think it could be.
I'm not sure. Hold on.
I took a wild guess. I did some math. I'm not sure if I did it correctly. It looks like that.
All right, bring it back. We got 2 minutes left. We will wrap. Well, we won't wrap this. Okay. All right. If you want to be late to connections, I'll wait. We have to agree so that our answers can like all be the same. It kind of feels like it's somewhere between 7 and 8, and not all pennies are exactly uniform. But as I walked out, it seemed like more of us said 7. So let's all make sure that our pages have 7 pennies for 1 centimeter, which then means how many would it take to go double that height and get 2 centimeters? 14. Tomorrow, we will finish this activity, which means your practice, guys, look at the sheet. Additional challenge is not your practice. Where it says this is your practice work at the bottom, that's where your practice starts. Okay, please do not stress about the other stuff that is not assigned to you. Makes me feel bad. I don't want to cause you stress. All right, with that, clip everything in your binders, put your name tag away. I will come around and grab your pennies, because otherwise they are too tempting for the next class.
You're literally so boring. These take forever too. I'll let you. I would rather learn.
Right now. For the